won't go there.
No, don't go there.
Let's talk about the warnings of a bleak winter in the NHS, because we're now being told that, once again, we'd rather you didn't actually bother the NHS with any problems, such as you being ill.
No, the best way to save the NHS is never to ring it up or ask it to do anything for you.
Just don't call us, and we'll be fine.
Again, just over and over again, the conclusion is it really is time to examine this organisation and see whether we can't do better. And if anybody says to me, oh, well, you want to introduce an American-style health system, my answer to that is bilge and tripe. Indeed, tripe marinated in bilge. There are many, many other ways of running a health service, apart from the American one and the British one.
But to be honest, the American one, as you will know, because you lived there, is not all bad, actually.
I found it pretty bad, actually.
Did you?
I thought I had to spend a lot of money on what was called the Health Maintenance Organisation. I had a hotel it's a hospital.
Easy to confuse.
A hospital practically next door to me, and I went there and I spent a day there having explained to me the way it worked. The insurance companies made it just as inefficient and unpleasant as the NHS in many ways. They were constantly trying to get people out. The bills you got were itemised into not just medical treatment, but then there'd be the nurse, there'd be the anaesthetist, there'd be a huge, and then there'd be on top of that the bill for actual accommodation. Then at the other end of town there was the big Washington public hospital, where you could get treated for nothing if only you were prepared to fill in a 90-page means testing form. There is and was public medicine in the United States, but neither of them was very good. Whereas you went across the border into Canada, where they had a thing called the single-payer system, things immediately changed for the better. But if you look at Jeremy Clark writes this wonderful column in The Spectator called Low Life, which I recommend to anybody. It's a beautiful column, wonderfully written, but he's actually suffering quite badly from cancer, and he recounts his experiences with the French medical system, and it's obviously better than the British one. And it plainly is. It's a public system. It's available to everybody, but it's a mixture of insurance and state care. And I don't see why that is such a bad idea, or why we should immediately reject it. Almost anywhere you go on the European continent, you will find good quality medical care, and it's not the NHS. So why can't we just look at these things and say, actually, maybe we could do better? It's not. It's full of inefficiencies. And the news that came out last week, and there's Sarah Knapson in the Daily Telegraph wrote a story about how it's looked quite likely that more people were going to die as a result of the shutdown than had died as a result of COVID. And this is a terrible thing to admit, but it was obvious to a lot of us at the time that the way the health service was putting up barricades to people going into GP care or hospitals was making this likely.
Yeah, and it absolutely came true. I mentioned your previous